What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, how are we doing today?
Pat, I'm doing probably the best I may have been doing since we started this show. And we are recording in the morning. I know you're not exactly a morning guy. Should I say that? I don't know. Are you a morning person? I know you don't like recording in the
No,
morning, preferably.
no. I mean, listen. Mornings have their pros and cons, but I think at the end of the day, I prefer nighttime for sure.
Also, we talked about it off camera, but I just want to give a quick little shout out. Is this not the sickest jacket you've ever seen in your life, bro?
It's cool.
Vintage
It's all right.
90s. Yo, when we were on the World Series parade this year at the we get our own float.
Oh, you're okay. Cool.
Tell
I'll
me
get.
this isn't World Series parade vibes. Can you see the logo?
You know
Oh,
which
this is
one
a
I
little
like?
box.
You ever see like the white ones? I'll get the white one.
See, they're nice. I don't wear white though, bro, because I have like an Irish red skin tone. White just doesn't really work for me.
Dude, have you seen me?
Nah, we're a different level of pale. It's not the same. Like I'm Casper the Ghost. You're just like on the nah. I'm more pale than you, bro. We should probably get into it though. How are you doing? I don't know. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Life is good. Like, how could you complain when the Yankees are 5.5 games up on the division now, right?
Yeah.
After a cool little weekend series against the Rays, where the Yankees took 2 out of 3. Now, in our last episode, we were kind of talking a lot about how big that series was, and also, I mean, the Yankees on the verge of a potential like huge collapse, historic collapse. How are we feeling now after the Yankees took 2 out of 3 from the Rays and are now 5.5 games up on the AL East?
All right, yeah. So I ain't gonna get as crazy as I was in June and declare the division over. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't much more calm now, dude, especially after Friday sucked. Really just because, and we'll get into it later. Aaron Hicks cost the game, but it's Jeter night. We'll get into that later too. It was awesome. Ended up losing that game, which brought them to within 3.5 back. Thank God, bats broke out, 2 10-run performances. We're now 5.5 up, but the big thing is we now have the season series against the Rays, 11-8, I believe it is, or 10-8. So we have the tiebreaker. So if they do end up tying with us, we still take the division. So essentially, we're not 5.5 up. That basically puts us at 6.5 up. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's still 20 games left to play. Anything can happen, but Tampa has a tough ass schedule, and Toronto's kind of back in the fold now. I mean, they're just a half game separated from Tampa Bay, and they're playing each other, I believe, 6 times throughout the rest of the year. So they can just beat up on each other. And pretty much just what I've been saying this whole time, if we just play 500 baseball, which, let's shed some light on some good news here. The Yankees are 5-2, I believe, in September, or 5-3, or 6-2, something like that. That's pretty damn good, bro. That's pretty damn good. For an August, that was what do we go? Like 5-20 or something like that? We're bouncing back well. Vibes are good, man. Yeah, no, I'm not worried really at all. Not at all.
No, I think you described it perfectly.
Really?
I think, but also it's weird because I'm not going to like go on record now being like, no, I'm not concerned about the division, because I feel like we go through this every other episode, right? Like I'll come on here and be like, yeah, like now I'm feeling good. Like our lead's back at 5.5. Then they'll lose the next 3 straight and the Rays will win and they'll go back down 2.5. So I'm going to let it settle. But as of right now, yeah, I mean, obviously, like I'm feeling super confident as far as division goes, but we know how quickly that 5.5 can turn into 2.5. I think the biggest factor here, though, is that I'm no longer viewing the Rays as the biggest threat to the division. I'm viewing the Blue Jays as such because we have games left against the Blue Jays. So I feel like I'll feel a lot more comfortable after that 3-game series against Toronto, and then we'll be kind of like in the clear.
I know. I feel like coming off the performance we had against the Rays in those final 2 games, it's a little easier for me to be optimistic. But I hear what you're saying. I'm more concerned about the Blue Jays. I agree with you on that. I'm more concerned about the Jays than the Rays at this point.
But I guess speaking about that Rays series, one guy who kind of, I guess, had a pretty solid series, Gleyber Torres. Dan, such a polarizing figure on the Yankees, right? Like, I feel like Gleyber Torres has kind of become like the new Gary Sanchez. I'm viewing him as such, at least in my own mind anyway. So if we're like looking at his season in numbers, he has 21 home runs on the season, slash line 240 batting average, 292 on base, 427 slugging, with a 104 OPS plus. Now, let's just say like school's back in action, right? Like if any of you watching, I mean, are of school age, you're probably in school right now, right? Mid-September action. Let's say we were teachers and you're giving out grades for an assignment. So what would you give Gleyber Torres as far as his grade, not only for the 2022 season, but for his career as a Yankee as a whole?
Yeah, so little love to Gleyber, big game, and he's kind of, I mean, he has a 772 OPS in September. not exactly, where he was in the first half, but when you compare it to August where he had a 464 OPS, yeah, he's kind of getting back on track. His 2022 season, man, I mean, I would give it his season, I would say is a C plus just because the August was so bad. His Yankee career though, bro, like, I don't know, man. I feel like it would be a little too generous to even give him a B only because I mean, you could look at the career average, which is a slash line at 262, 327, 449, which is an OPS around 780. I don't know, dude, but we've signed up for that going into, say, 2018 when we knew he was about to make his debut, was a top 3 prospect in baseball, was hyped up like no other guy that we've seen before, at least in our Yankee watching tenure. I don't know, dude. I'd say at best I would give him maybe a B minus, but I'll go C plus raised up to a B minus simply the fact of he has performed well in the playoffs. And I am banking on that from Gleyber. I think he will be able to just, once you have a clean slate going into the playoffs, he'll be able to just turn it on. He does seem to have, at least at times, a relatively high baseball IQ when like the moments or the stakes are at its highest. So he has that going for him. But yeah, C plus raised up to a B because of the playoffs. What about you?
Ready for Mr. Hennessy's grade?
Yeah, is this going to be positive Patty or is this going to be
No, it's not
no?
actually.
All right, let's
Mr.
hear it.
Hennessy's a different beast, because like I'm a teacher, I'm kind of like embracing it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I don't grade on a curve like you do. So like going on the 2022 season, I'd probably give him like a C just because like his first half was really good. Like I think a lot of people are like kind of forgetting, like a lot of people were fighting for Gleyber Torres to be an all-star this season. And then I feel like the trade rumors maybe got to his head or something, completely fell off in the second half. So yeah, I'm gonna go C for his 2022 season. However, for the career grade, then I'm gonna go C minus.
Really?
Simply
Okay.
because I mean I'm looking at it in like the grand scheme of things. 2018, 2019, great. I think that if he would have like continued at that pace, we're probably talking about like an A, maybe A plus. That might be pushing it, but
Yeah.
definitely, bro, like the grade would have been really good. However, completely fell off the map in 2020. We were like, oh, it's a shortened season. Maybe he'll bounce back next year. 2021 wasn't much better. This season, like he started off nice, but then he kind of fell off and the numbers are kind of like regressing to the mean a little bit. So it's
Yeah.
like I feel like we've seen more bad than good from Gleyber so far during his career with the Yankees. And kind of like you said, like there is a huge potential that he does go off in the playoffs this year. But let's say he doesn't, I think he's gone. Like, I think that there will be no shot, especially with Volpe coming up. I think that there would be no shot he's on the New York Yankees next season.
I'm
Now,
with you on
maybe
that.
I don't know if that's a hot take, but I wouldn't be upset about it either.
No, I could see him even if he does continue to like turn it up in September and have a good October. I would put it at a 90% chance that he's not on the Yankees next year. I couldn't agree more with that
But
because
would you be upset about that?
no, I don't think so. And it really comes down to the consistency of it. I think we mentioned this in a prior episode, but it does kind of feel similar to the Gary Sanchez situation where he could go on a little bit of a run and have you falling back in love. And I felt that way in the first half where I was like, all right, it's awesome to have Gleyber be a face of this team again. And then awful August. Now he's kind of trying to win us back a little bit, which is awesome going into the playoffs. But yeah, I just don't think the roster numbers really add up for him to be on the team next year. And also, dude, the inconsistency is a big, big part of that too. So
Yeah.
no, I'm with you. I don't think we'll be on the team next year.
Listen, Gleyber, I love you, but it's not.
It's sad, bro. It's another kind of failure of the baby bombers in a way, and it's tough to admit. But dude, the only things that have worked out is Judge, of course, and then Sevy. I'll never blame. Like
No,
it's not
it's just
really,
Judge.
like
Judge is the only
no.
one that worked out. He really is.
Well,
I
Sevy,
know
but
Sevy's
Sevy's
cool,
an
but
injury
bro,
thing because if you go by when you're talking just performance, Sevy is a
I know, but
success.
you have to factor in the injury stuff. You have
Well,
like you can't ignore it.
sure, but that's something I'm going to blame anybody for.
No one's blaming him, but you can't say that he's
I'll
worked out.
blame Gleyber. I think he's shown up out of shape at times. I mean, I've said this for the longest time. I can't fathom that for multiple years he's been young starting shortstop for the Yankees, and he shows up to camp like 2020 showed up like 10 to 15 pounds overweight. I just don't understand how that's even a thing that can happen. But so there's parts I do blame Gleyber Torres a little bit, and he can be he has like Gleyber puppy dog face at sometimes. He
Very Gary Sanchez-esque.
yes, absolutely. There's
100%.
times where you just feel like, man, he looks like he has no idea what the hell he's doing. Like that one play against the Mets where he like tried to tag out Jeff McNeil at second base and the run just trotted home.
Yeah.
And then there's times where he can look great and look like the smartest baseball player of all time. So it's frustrating with Gleyber, and that's kind of why I am ready to move on.
Yeah, it's weird. But Dan, listen, we were kind of viewing Gleyber Torres as like the Yankees shortstop of the future, right? Yankee shortstop of the past had his little Hall of Fame ceremony at the Bronx.
Top
When
five
was that?
transition by you, by the way. That was
When was
Friday.
that? Yeah, that was good, right? Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, Jeter had a nice little speech, a solid ceremony, I guess. If you're into that kind of stuff. But Jeter closed off his speech by saying,
So I know you guys haven't seen a lot of me over the last few years for various reasons. But I truly do look forward to hopefully seeing a lot more of you here in the near future. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
now, obviously, Yankee fans freaked out on social media. A lot of people are like, oh my God, he's buying the team. That's not happening. I could probably assure that. However, I mean, it got a lot of people talking, maybe, especially now that Jeter's not with the Marlins anymore. Maybe he could find like a way in the Yankees front office in some way. Two-part question now, Dan. One, do you think that Jeter saying that kind of like meant anything more than just, wow, like I'm not with the Marlins anymore, so I'll see a lot more of you guys? Or like, was there actually some sort of substance behind it? And then also, would you be for it? Would you be for Jeter kind of like pulling back up to the Yankees?
Yeah. So, all right. First part of the question, let me just mention the fact that he was asked about this by, I think, Andy Martino, and he said that people are kind of reading a little bit too much into it. And I believe him on that. I don't think there's anything currently ongoing, so I'm not like getting excited necessarily about what he had to say. But dude, even before Friday night, it's been kind of in my head. And this answers the second part. Dude, I would absolutely love that. Now, I don't know what the role would be, whether it be, I'm not sure, something as crazy as like, I don't know, not assistant GM, but like advisory to GM, or I don't think you'd want to be like under Brian Cashman in a way, but some sort of high up role in the front office. I think that would be sick, just from the standpoint of how awesome would it be to have Derek Jeter be a face of the Yankees again. And that's kind of the way I look at it. I'm not sure how great his baseball intel really is in terms of like making on a transactions basis, right? But I don't know, dude. I would almost look at it like, I would look at it almost as a start of a new era. Wouldn't you? Because he's not going to go into something that he's not going to try to succeed at, right? So if he was in a role that could actually have an effect, dude, I would be all for that. I just don't know how realistic that is, though.
You want me to be honest?
You're not about it.
I couldn't care less. Like,
Really?
like this means absolutely nothing to me. First of all, ceremony was cool. I'm at the point where it's kind of, I'm jetered out between like,
I know you are. I knew that.
And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of like, I don't know, bro. People are gonna roast me in the comments. Pat, you weren't even old enough to watch Jeter. Yeah, I grew up with Jeter. Okay. However, it's come to the point where Jeter was never my guy. Bro, he's a legend. However, at the end of the day, it doesn't make or break anything to me if he's in the Yankees front office or not, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm viewing Derek Jeter as like the symbol, as like the New York Yankees, especially like the core four. Like he's the leader of that dynasty. However, at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't do anything for me, him kind of being like special assistant to Hal Steinbrenner. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on kind of being jetered out a little bit. Not that I'm there, but I can understand how you feel that way. For those watching at home, I mean, me and Pat are much more A-Rod guys, we would say, than Jeter guys. But I love Jeter, and he is a legend. But it would kind of be a little bit of symbolism for me, and that's something I'm usually going for. But I don't know. Like, I think
that's like your MO.
Well, not all the time, but more so like typically if I care about a front office move, it would be for the actual like baseball ops side of things. But
yeah, but
I feel like it would be a breath of fresh air to have him back in the organization.
But it's not like you're going to see him ever. When are you going to see, like, what does it do? It's going to be like an announcement, and then you're going to forget about it in 2 months. It means nothing.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is hopefully he would, like, I don't think he would do it unless he did have an actual role in the front office.
I know,
don't
but
think
it's
he would
nothing
do it just
that you would see on a day-to-day basis or even hear about.
Well, no, I don't think so. Because if that were the case, then he just wouldn't be brought on. I mean, he was
exactly. So it's meaningless to us. Meaningless.
No. I mean, the front office is a big part. It's not just Brian Cashman. Like, who he has around him is a big deal. Like, who he has in his ear and who like the people higher ups in the front office have in their ears, pretty big. I don't look at his Marlins tenure as a complete failure, to be honest. I mean, he did some good things over there. And I do trust the dude. He knows baseball. He knows winning. He knows the Yankee way. Just to have him around, dude, I think would be exciting. I would be excited. I would be.
Okay, Dan.
I would be.
Listen, moving on here. Speaking of great Yankee legends, right? Harrison Bader is set to begin a rehab assignment. And you know what, Dan? He actually started the rehab assignment.
Did he actually? That's my bad,
Yeah,
yo. Don't blame Pat for that, because I put in the question. I said this week. I didn't know that he started the rehab.
He had an RBI
already.
single yesterday. Yeah.
You're kidding.
No,
Oh,
yeah, that's
geez.
yours.
Call me a fake fan, man. I don't know. Shit.
So listen, Harrison Bader could be activated for the Yankees' next homestand beginning on September 20th, which is about 8 days away. Quick math. So Dan, what are our expectations for little Harrison Bader? Well, not little Harrison Bader, but what are our little expectations for Harrison Bader?
At the very least, phenomenal defense. That's the least we can expect. What we heard going into his tenure as a Yankee is that he is the best defensive center fielder in baseball. Indisputable. I don't think anybody really disputes that. And dude, I am looking for him to hit right around league average. You know, had a 110 WRC plus last year, did slug 460. So like the dude can hit it with the bat. You know, I don't want to say he's going to be the best hitter in October, but I think he should at least bank on him being some sort of a factor on offense. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the bar is so low. I'm really setting the bar low just because he's coming off the foot injury. I know he's going to provide solid defense. I'm kind of viewing it like the same way I viewed IKF when he came to the Yankees. A defense first guy where like he will
But
be
this
able
guy
to
actually
provide
will
something
play
with the
good
bat.
defense, though.
Damn, taking shots from that was
Bro, we
a
always
low.
end up taking shots at IKF, but we don't even mean to. I'm not
No, we
saying he
don't.
just comes up in crossfire.
But you know
bro.
what I mean? No, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
not looking at Harrison Bader the same way I looked at Andrew Benintendi when he came in, right? It's kind of like whatever he gives us with the bat, I'm going to be satisfied with. And then obviously like you just need the defense to be top notch. And I hope like coming off the injury that his defense is still
He
top
can't be
notch.
awful with the bat, though. He has to provide something. I'm not saying I'm
I don't think
expecting
he
anything
will be.
crazy, but I would hope, like, I'm banking on him being somewhat around a league average hitter,
Sure.
like to be able to hold your own.
No, I agree.
And as long as he is making crazy plays in center,
I'm
then that's
mad though.
value.
I'm upset about something. Can I tell you why I'm upset?
Yeah, tell me why you're upset.
Thank you. Why did he cut his hair?
Oh, I think he looks phenomenal. But I agree. He didn't have to go that crazy with it. He should have
No,
he could have had it to be like your length. You know, like he didn't have to
Yeah.
go too crazy.
the
with
Yankees
it.
would let me have my length. No.
Have you ever seen Garrett Cole's hair? Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
I think they would.
So, I mean, he totally shaved it, I'm pretty sure, which is not what I would have done. But hey, he's fully committed to the Yankee way, which I can respect. And
here
I
we
read his
go.
interview yesterday, bro, and this is something I'm big on. He's excited to be a Yankee. He said, I'm finally able
Everyone
to...
is, Dan.
Yeah, but no. Hey, this is different, though, because he's a Bronx native. Keep that in mind. This is legit. Bronx native Harrison Bader.
I speak for everybody when I say this.
Wrong.
I'm so tired of every single person we acquire. Oh my God, it was their dream to be a New York Yankee. They're living a childhood fantasy.
I think it's awesome.
Every single player.
Yes,
every
Pat,
single
because
one.
the Yankees are the most popular franchise in the sport. So there's going to be a lot of fans.
Okay, so we don't care that it's every single player. Dude, I sound like
I know. I
horrible
love it.
person
I
right now.
love it. That's
I'm
all
over it.
IKF really has going for him, honestly, is the way he likes being a Yankee, and I appreciate that. That's why
Yeah,
I
and
don't
if I
bash him
see that
much.
picture of him and his dad in the bleachers,
You know,
one
I
more
love that.
time,
Like Cole during the 0-1 World Series, I eat it up, bro. Give me all the Bader pictures as him as a Yankee fan. I love that shit, bro. That's where we're very different. I eat that.
we're
up,
very
dude.
different. I'll tell you
love it.
why.
When players
'Cause I'm
appreciate
not-
being a Yankee, it means a lot to me. It really does.
Yeah, it means nothing to me because I view it as like a turnstile. Like, bro, you're gonna be gone like next season anyway. So why am I gonna get emotionally attached to you?
Well, hopefully not. I don't ever look at it like that.
Harrison Bader is not a long-term Yankee. IKF is not a long-term
Ooh,
Yankee.
no,
Like,
we
let's just
can't
get
compare.
that.
Let's not compare Bader and IKF, dude. They're like very
I'm comparing
different.
them. No, I'm
No,
comparing them.
do not do that.
I'm doing it.
Bader has been a top 10 center fielder in the league, man. IKF has never been anywhere past a top 30 shortstop, man. Like,
I'm not talking about IKF as a shortstop. I'm talking about IKF as like an
even
elite
so,
defensive infielder.
I wouldn't compare the two. Bader's a better baseball player than IKF, and he's going to be a damn good Yankee. And in fact, he might end up being a postseason hero just because you're talking all this shit about him right now. So
I'm not, dude. No
that in
one's
mind.
talking
No,
shit
keep-
about Harrison Bader.
No,
No
you're
one is.
roasting him. You're basically saying
How?
you hate him, dude. You're basically saying you hate him.
Because I said I don't care that it's
You don't
like
even want
his
him on the
childhood
Yankees.
dream.
In fact,
I'll walk off.
in fact, you want Jordan Montgomery back. Pat
That's
loves Jordan Montgomery, by the way.
However,
hey, wait, are you happy for him, by the way? I know we talked about this, but are you
Yeah.
happy for him?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am.
So you're not
It's-
rooting for him to do poorly. For those who aren't
No.
too familiar with Pat, he was not a big Jordan Montgomery guy. So I was just curious.
Okay. So it's one of those things where it's like, especially because he has a nice beard now, and I think that he looks 10,000 times better with the beard. And it's probably made him pitch better as well.
He looks like a Cardinal, I'll say that.
I'm rooting for Monty, bro. It's not like a Brett Gardner situation where if like Brett Gardner went to.
So you're not rooting for Brett Gardner to do well?
I wouldn't. No.
Dude,
I probably
you're
wouldn't.
absolutely nuts. I hope he's doing great, man. I hope he has a nice garden at home in his retirement. Like, I hope he's
listen.
good food.
We're going to talk about Brett Gardner in our next and final topic here. So we were talking about Harrison Bader, right? Solid center fielder, elite defensive center fielder.
Thank you.
Right? Elite.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
I'm saying, bro.
Never argued that.
But you said pretty good center fielder. That's what I'm trying to put across here. Go on.
The Yankees already have an elite center fielder. His name is Aaron Hicks. So he had quite the series against the Rays. We might not ever see him on the field again after that. Made some couple of really insane plays in left field. Great way to describe it. So bad to the point where Aaron Boone had to pull him mid-game. I'm going to be honest, like, it got to the point where I can't remember, like, the last time the Yankees fan base kind of, like, turned on a Yankee that quickly mid-game. Dude, boo birds from everywhere. I feel like they were going to start throwing stuff at him. How are we feeling about that Aaron Hicks situation?
Yeah, well, let me just be nice to Hicks for 2 seconds. I want to be fair. That second ball, not exactly his fault. That was a line drive. That was a tough play. But when it immediately follows the first one, that was so bad, so egregious. I'm not sure what was worse. Actually, no, I do know what was worse. He goes to make the catch. He drops the ball. That is terrible. Huge moment that ultimately did lose us the game. But, man, the way he just stared at the ball, and I don't care if you think it's foul, because no matter what you do in that situation is pick up the ball, get it in, figure out if it's foul or not later, right? So that was really bad. And, dude, the boos, I think, might have been the loudest I've ever heard for a Yankee in my time as a Yankee fan. Like, honestly, I've never heard it worse. They were chanting Joey Gallo at him, which, to be honest, I thought was quite hilarious. And, yeah, props to Boone, man, taking him out right away. But, yeah, man, I feel bad for Hicks. I feel like I get a little too, like, sometimes I feel bad for players a little bit too much when, in fact, like, Hicks is still taking home his $70 million. But
no, you don't.
I don't know, man. Like, what's it like to have 50,000 people like booing you? But rightfully so. I don't know.
Dan, when do you ever feel bad for players?
No, home players. Yankees, oh, yes, I do. Not opposing players. I can give two shits about opposing players. Opposing players. I don't care. Just kidding.
No, I feel it. Just because Aaron Hicks, for some reason, he'll always have like a soft spot in my heart. I don't know why. I don't know how. But
I won't go that far. But
no, he has like a special place. I mean, it's like he's only paying like $5 a month of rent. Like, it's like a 24.
He has a Verlander homer going for him. That will always be badass as hell.
He is. I mean, also, like, he's one of the original guys. Like, he's been on the team since like 2016 at this point. So he's been around for a hot minute. Obviously,
honestly though, I don't really, unless you're, all I care about in terms of being like attached to the 2017 team is like, you'd have to be homegrown for me to really care. And Hicks is not. So I don't know. I feel bad for Hicks that he got booed, but as for my actual attachment level to him as a Yankee, I think he's gone after this year too. I think they might just end up DFAing him.
No, I agree. But you know what my biggest gripe with the whole situation was?
What's that?
I opened up Twitter. Why was Brett Gardner trending? Like, I know, like, maybe this is like a joke with like half of Yankee fans out there. However, you can't sit here and tell me that some people are so stupid that they would rather have Brett Gardner. I mean, I know Aaron Hicks hasn't been great, but you can't sit here and like even view Brett Gardner as a viable option. We're talking about a dude who's 40, sucked for like the last 2 seasons, and hasn't played baseball in like a year.
Dude, the Brett Gardner conversations are just silly, bro. Because it's not going to happen. Well, then they're dumb. And I mean this respectfully, but it wouldn't even be possible. Like, because what are you going to do? Sign Brett Gardner and then have him not be in the postseason roster?
Because
like,
he's not washed.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. 2021 Brett Gardner is better than 2022 Aaron Hicks. I'm not saying we would get that from him, but I'm ready to move past Brett Gardner, bro. I was even thrown off before when you're saying we're going to talk about Brett Gardner. I'm like, what are we going to talk about Brett Gardner? But of course, you had to bring him up. That's fine. That's great. No, I think you're the one not willing to give up on Brett Gardner. Actually, I think you got a secret little thing for him, bro. Is it that girl you can't say goodbye to? What is it?
What?
I don't know. I'm saying in the generic sense. I'm not bringing about anybody in particular.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the fact that my whole career has been Pat hates Brett Gardner. And now I don't know what to do with myself.
Because you don't have Jordan Montgomery, so now you got
I don't have anyone to hate. Like, it's weird because I replaced Brett Gardner with Monty. And now I don't have anyone. So listen, if anybody
have it be Aaron Hicks then, bro. I mean, you're the one that's like filing a love fest for Aaron Hicks.
Because it has to be authentic. I mean, it can't be fake.
I guess. That's
I
fair.
don't
You know, I
know.
respect
I
that
don't
out of you. Good for you. 'Cause
Listen.
if there's one thing I won't doubt about you, Pat, is that your hate for Brett Gardner is genuine. Like I never thought otherwise. Like I know
As a
for a fact
player,
you.
as a human, I hope that he's happy on his 80-acre ranch in South Carolina. I hope that he has a nice farm with
See, I don't know
chickens
if I
and
believe that.
cows. And
I don't
no,
know if
I
I
do.
believe that.
As a human, I root for him. I
That's good.
genuinely root for him as a human. Do you
That's
not?
good. Of course I do. I don't have anything against Brett Gardner.
Who's your most hated Yankee of all time?
Oh man, I gotta actually think of one. I mean, honestly, probably Ronald Guzman. Like he's up there. Everything's
Do you,
huge for me, bro.
do
And I
you
can
wish
just tell
him well
that's
as a
something. And
human?
this is what I mean. I mean, I don't want him to like die, but not necessarily.
But yo, Dan, it's gonna wrap things up.
Episode 7 and the Bucks. Another blast of my boy, Positive Patty. You know, I'm kind of starting to like the bring of that. Yeah, I kind of like Positive Patty a little bit.
You hated it.
Yeah, you're right. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you are new. Yo, this is on Spotify at least for right now. Still working on Apple, but it should be up soon. And yeah, rate, review, subscribe, I guess, if you're on the podcast end. And that'll do it, bro. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go. Yankees.
Peace.